So you feel stuck in a rut? Does your life lack excitement or it doesn't fulfill you? Today I will share you what helped me change that so that you can make your life fun and exciting and most importantly meaningful for you as well. Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Diana and I am a tarot reader and transformational life coach in training. And I do care about our personal growth and happiness a lot. And today I want to start with asking you a question. So, how do you think? Why do you live? What do you live for? And how it should feel knowing that you are in the right place, doing the right thing that helps you and everything around you grow? And how do you create that life that is filled with meaning and purpose? So I think that many of us don't have such a life. We may be stuck in a rut, we may be doing the same thing over and over again, we may be doing things that we dislike. For example, we may be stuck in a job that we don't like or even hate, and probably our circumstances doesn't really allow us to be happy. If you have felt like that, or if you are currently feeling like that, then keep watching because I will have something interesting to share with you, and it has to do with my own life and my own personal experience. Recently I discovered something interesting that I thought that I would like to share because I think that it may have some value for those of you who are in a similar position that I was in some time ago. And the thing is that I'm a bit obsessed with tables and graphs and data and trends. And what I've been doing for 12 years, it turns out for already 12 years, I've been taking notes of all the important life events that happen in my life. And what I do, I just take a note of that event. I assign it an importance score because some events are bigger than others. And once a year, I sum it all up and create a bar chart where I can basically see a trend. So how busy and how filled with things have my life been that year. And I have been doing that for 12 years already. And this is what my life looks like over this period of time. So here I would like to point out something interesting. We could divide my life into two parts, the one from 2009 till 2014 and the other one from 2015 onwards. And what is interesting is that in this other half, the number of events in my life has significantly increased. And you can even see that if we compare this year, which is 2013, with 2020, which was the last year, so that the difference is pretty impressive. I actually calculated it and the increase is 18 times. How I felt till 2014, I felt like I was really stuck in a rut. Nothing really changed. I couldn't really make my plans progress. I couldn't get those results that I was looking for, and I felt stagnant and I wasn't happy about myself at all. And something happened in the 2014, something that I did. It didn't happen on its own. It happened because I made it happen. And that is what I want to share with you. And I want to tell you what I did exactly that helped me amplify the excitement rate of my life. So what happened in 2014? In that year, I was really unhappy with myself. I have been struggling with myself basically forever, but at that year, I was kind of hitting this peak point of social anxiety. It has gotten so bad that I literally couldn't leave my home. I couldn't eat in public. I couldn't sign documents in public. I couldn't write do stuff with my hands in front of other people because I was so I was panicking. I was really nervous. I couldn't do normal daily mundane things that we all do every day if I was out in public. So it was really bad for me at that time. So at one point, I just looked at myself and I asked, what is wrong with me and how long will this continue? Is that really where I'm headed? Is that really my life? And do I like it? And I was 28 or something, 28 years old at that time. And I realized by the end of 2014 that I have to do something. If I don't change something right here and right now, I didn't really like the where I didn't really like where I could end up being at that point. So that was the decision that I made, the promise that I made to myself that changed everything. And the promise that I gave to myself was, I will never abandon myself anymore. And I will explain why that was so important, for me at least. I was living my life up to that point, trying to meet the expectations of other people. And I was not even aware of that because those foreign expectations were so deeply planted in me that I had adopted them as my own, which was very wrong. And the reason I had this severe social anxiety was because I knew deep down that this was not me. This was not the way I was supposed to be living my life. But yet I was doing that. I was doing that thing that was basically destroying me every single day. And the more I attempted to be successful in that life, playing that game, the more my anxiety increased. So basically I was going against myself. I was forcing myself into something that wasn't mine. It was not authentically me. I had never been in touch with my real self before. So that was the reason for my anxiety. And the promise that I gave to myself to not abandon myself anymore was a promise to come back to myself, to honor my feelings, to make my feelings a priority, and to make my life, build my life around the way I felt. And that was a major change, a major shift in thinking that happened in me, because up to that point I was living my life according to those expectations and those external standards, and I didn't really consider that I could give myself a permission to live my life the way I wanted it. It's so simple, it's so easy, and perhaps many of us could be like, oh, but it's no big deal. You can, of course, you have to do what you want. But for me at that point, it was not an option. I didn't allow myself to even think about that until I could no longer take it. And so what I did, I just shifted. I took a look at myself and I realized that this is it. I am now with myself and this is how it's going to be. And I started to take action according to that. I started to change. It was very hard at first, and it's still sometimes hard. You know, life is hard, life is complicated, and stuff happens, and you are supposed to react to that and co-create with that. So life is not going to be rainbows and unicorns. If you make some decision and if you do some change, you will still have to grow and challenge yourself. But as I can see by looking at this graph that I showed you, is that the way I felt about my life and how I was able to grow changed dramatically. It really changed, and I started to really feel that I am now living my life, that I'm coming back to myself. I'm making those decisions that are my decisions, that are there to serve me, that serve my best interests. And it was amazing. That feeling in and of itself was amazing. And what happened is that my anxiety went away. I was also struggling with an eating disorder for many years, and it went away completely. I still have social anxiety. in certain situations, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was in 2014 and at that time. So this stuff really worked for me. So I truly hope that you can also gain something of value from it yourself. And now I want to share 5 teaching points or 5 things that I learned that might be helpful for you as well. So the first thing is, if you are stuck in your life, if you don't like the way your life is, don't expect change to happen to you. It's not going to happen. That is your decision. You decide that you want to change, and it's also your commitment to that change. Decision in and of itself is not going to help you if you don't act accordingly. So you have to be committed to yourself. Decide to change and commit to that decision. That's very important. That will initiate the change for you, the change that you are looking forward. So next point is about taking action. Definitely, you create that change. You bring that change into being. You made a decision, you committed to yourself, and now it's time to act. It's very important. And what is interesting is that, at least I have noticed it's the case for me, that whenever I'm in this period when I'm stuck, there are seemingly no opportunities. Nothing really happens. Nothing has been offered to me. I'm trying to find something, but it's not really working. It turns out to be just an empty promise, and life kind of doesn't cooperate, if you know what I mean. But once you start taking action, and once you put yourself out there, and once you start also taking risks, because change requires you to take some calculated risks, it requires you to grow and go out of your comfort zone. Once you start doing that, those opportunities come. So that is something that you have to remember, that even though you don't have everything sorted out once you start out, and if you still have things that you don't know how to accomplish, it's okay. Just trust that the right opportunity will come to you when you will need it the most. And it is what happens always, all the time. The most amazing things start to happen, all the synchronicities and everything that happens in your favor once you make that decision, take action, and claim your place, claim what you want. Then the next thing is super important. You have to be okay with discomfort and negative feelings, because that's the whole point of not abandoning yourself. One big reason why you may be stuck in the first place is because you were abandoning yourself. You were not being present with yourself. You were perhaps selecting only those parts of you that felt safe to be around, that were validated by other people, but you suppressed and rejected those parts that were not. And this is where that ability to sit with your feelings, no matter what they are, how they feel, is very, very important. There will be discomfort. Once you start to integrate all those lost aspects of yourself, there will be so much discomfort that it can get pretty dramatic at times when you really start to do that healing work, that integration work. But it's all worth it. At the end of the day, this is you, this is who you are, and if you are able to embrace all of it, then you become more complete. You give yourself permission to be just the way you are, and it's super important. Then point number 4 is self-connection comes first before you are able to create lasting change outwardly. So this is another thing that I've noticed many people doesn't really understand, because they expect that something would happen to them from the outside and that will change them internally as well. Well, it may happen, but I have not seen it happening often, and at least the result of that is not as expected, it's not, or not as hoped for. External change cannot make you feel happy if you lack that self-connection. So it's very important that you, again, here I'm coming back to being with your negative feelings, with all your feelings, but especially negative, because we tend to avoid those the most. If you are able to create that self-connection, no matter how you feel, no matter how you are at that moment, that is the prerequisite of being happy. And that is how you can then attract those external influences and how you can create that change. You create that change on a foundation, which is self-connection, being connected to yourself. So you basically create your life from inside out, as opposed to from outside in. As I said, perhaps for some people this could be the opposite, but I have not seen that to be the most effective way. If you are happy with yourself, if you are okay with yourself, then change comes naturally. And finally, point number 5 is don't expect things to be perfect. As I already mentioned, it's not that you start to create that positive change and you start to do the healing and you create that self-connection and now miraculously everything is just flawless and there are no more struggle, there are no more challenges. It's not going to be the case. Life is not going to be perfect. Stuff will keep happening. You will have to learn your lessons, you will have to grow, you will have to stretch yourself. Perhaps you will feel tempted to go back to your old life. It happens all the time because you still have your old habits. You still have your old ways of living. They are still there when you make that change. And you have to constantly remind yourself what you want and who you want to become, who you are and who you are becoming. You have to stay alert about those things because you will be tempted to go back. Perhaps you will make other decisions that will put you back in your old situation. But again, here's why that first point, the commitment that you make to yourself, is so important, because you don't give up. Even if you take a step back, which can be very normal, even if you do that, you keep going, you keep moving forward. And then you take another step back, but then you take 2 steps forward. And that is how you grow, that is how you progress. And it's fine, it's okay to come back, to turn back to your old life, to your old self, because probably you still needed to do some lesson there. Perhaps there was still something you needed to attend to. But then you do that, you finish that business, you become a bit smarter, a bit wiser, a bit more mature, and you take that good stuff that you learned and you apply it into your new life. So this is my main points that I have realized that have helped me a lot to change my life and the way I felt about my life. And you know, if we think about that perfect life, about living a meaningful life, about living our purpose, perhaps we look at those things through those rose-colored glasses. We think that it will be ideal life. We think that it will be perfect, and when we will be there, we will finally feel good about ourselves and we will finally be happy. But I would like to tell you that perhaps it's not how it's meant to be. It's not how it's supposed to be. You are still a human being. No matter how much you grow, no matter how much you learn, you are still learning and growing, and you will continue to do that till the last day you're here. So don't wait for that perfect life when you will finally be happy. Be happy right here and right now. However you are, no matter how unhappy you feel, just be with yourself. Sit with that unhappiness and let it change you. Let it tell you what it needs and wants. Let your desires to be expressed and just follow your heart's yearning. It will take you somewhere, and change will be inevitable. Okay guys, so this is what I wanted to tell you today. I hope that you found something helpful to take away from yourself, for yourself as well. I would also like you to consider downloading my free workbook with 12 creative exercises that I have created to help you establish that self-connection and help you create a happier life. So the link will be in the description box below. And also, please give this video a like if you found it useful. And also subscribe to my channel, and please let me know what you think, what have your experiences be, and where you are on your journey. I would really love to hear from you. Okay, that's it. Take a very good care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon in my next video. Bye!